Oh, POTUS. Are we live? El Libo? Looks like it. Oh my gosh. Finally, right? It's been a while. Absolutely. And we're going live every single day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, become a member, throw in a super chat if you want. Do we have a good one? I hope we have a good one. My goodness. What are we doing if we don't bring the good stuff, right? Yeah. There we go. It's coming together slowly but surely, right? How was your weekend? Was it solid? I truly hope your weekend was solid. Like, just absolutely solid. One of the best weekends in the world, right? Any highlights? Gotta have highlights. All right. So, good legends. Welcome back to the most unfiltered political breakdown on YouTube, hopefully, right? If you just got here, thank you for making this the fastest growing live community on the platform and the best live community on the platform. Seriously, you all are incredible. And today, chef's kiss. Insane developments. Netanyahu just dropped a warning that's shaking the entire Pentagon. Trump's military moves, unexpected, right? California election, absolute meltdown. What is happening with California? Goodness gracious. Who's at fault over there? The libs, the conservatives, what's going on? Politicians, some other outside forces. Hopefully somebody in the chat can help us with that, right? And we're gonna break down every single detail live. Might as well. So if you're someone who actually cares about the truth, not just mainstream garbage, you need to hit that join button right now. Become a member, get exclusive clips, and get into our chat where real people have real conversations. Sound good? Yeah, absolutely. POTUS, Mr. POTUS, what's happening? Talk to us.
Set 53 all-time record highs since the election. For the first time in their lives, we want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up.
People keep saying this time is different.
I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. Cash keeps coming into these markets.
You don't see it ending well. I guess my question would be when?
What's up, guys? It's Graham here. So,
Graham Steven.
I know this sounds insane, but the stock market will literally never go down again. Now, before you call me crazy,
That's a huge statement. Do you agree with that, chat, or disagree? That's a big one. Oh, I didn't even pull up my chat. Yo, Tara Matthews, how you doing? Good to see you.
viral thread just laid out a very convincing argument. Apparently, stonks go up is no longer a meme. It's a law like gravity, only in reverse with money. Let me explain. 1. We owe $40 trillion in debt. Our interest payments are about to exceed our GDP. This means that the only way to make our interest payments alone is to print enough money to cover the interest. 2. This will cause hyperinflation. But who cares if you own Palantir or Tesla stock? Those will inflate proportionally. This is why you see any crash instantly recover within half a trading day. The stock market could literally not go down. So with this in mind, we really have to talk about exactly
Daniel Bates, how you doing?
what's going on, why the government is now forced to print more money than we ever thought was imaginable, and if this theory is correct. Because if he is right, we could be witnessing the largest wealth transfer ever in history. But if he's wrong, this could be the greatest rug pull of our generation. And most likely, you are the exit. Although before we start, look, I made a promise in my last video that I would do a push-up for every like and subscribe the video got, and I'm currently on push-up number 259. So if—
Oh my God, good luck, bro. Good luck. That's good. That's a good challenge I have. I'm not dogging on that one.
If you appreciate me just breaking myself for YouTube likes, it would mean the world to me if you hit the like button again and subscribed. And as a thank you for doing
We gotta like it, bro. Get another push-up in there.
that, here's a picture of a puppy. So thanks so much, and also big thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video, but more on that later. Alright, so in terms of what's happening and whether or not there's any truth to the idea that stonks only go up, Believe it or not, this argument isn't just theory. It's actually based on a true concept that some economists call the Great Melt-Up. See, for those unfamiliar, the basic logic just works like this. In every single bull market, we eventually
Yo, Mandy, how you doing? Good to see you, girl.
reach the final euphoric phase where prices are no longer driven by earnings and fundamentals, but rather they're driven entirely by momentum. At that point, there's the feeling that everyone else around you is getting rich, along with the simple belief that prices keep going up because they've so far kept going up. And believe it or not, these melt-up scenarios are surprisingly common. They've happened many times throughout history, and the returns during them can be absolutely insane up until the point where all of a sudden they aren't. Like the most recent example was the 1999 dot-com bubble. In this case, from 1995 through March 2000, the Nasdaq rose roughly 400%, with the final year alone up nearly 90%. Back then, investors genuinely believed that the internet had permanently changed the financial laws of gravity. Until all of a sudden, the Nasdaq lost 78% over the following 2.5 years and didn't
It's growing back fast. It's growing back very, very fast. Thank you so much for noticing.
fully recover for more than a decade. Or if you want even more extreme, take a look at Japan. Their stock market rose 900% between 1975 and 1989, and land became so valuable that the Imperial Palace was estimated to be worth more than all the real estate in California. Although as soon as Japan started raising their interest rates, the entire economy broke. Their stock market fell 60% in under 2 years, and their economy took the following 34 years just to break even. In fact, great melt-ups like this never stop because the underlying idea was good or bad, but rather they stop when there's no one left to keep buying in higher. That's why in terms of what we're seeing today throughout our own economy, and whether or not this Reddit post is telling the truth, we need to talk about the 2026 stock market. See, the basic logic behind the Reddit melt-up theory goes somewhat like this. The US government currently owes nearly $40 trillion in debt while running a $2 trillion annual deficit, meaning we consistently spend more money than we take in for decades, which, look, obviously, that's not sustainable long term. So the question then becomes, how can the US government get out from underneath that without completely collapsing the economy? Well, historically, the easiest path is just to inflate the debt away. You let the dollar lose purchasing power over time until that $39 trillion becomes worth a lot less in the future, and there you go, problem solved.
Oh my gosh. That just seems like you're just digging yourself in a bigger hole, right? You're making excuses, not manning up or womaning up to the problems and fixing those problems as you should.
In fact, there's even a term for this, and it's called financial repression. It's literally how the United States was able to get rid of all of its debt after World War II. Without exaggeration, we printed a lot of money, kept interest rates artificially low, and then over the next few decades, the national debt just quietly disappeared. But here's why that matters in terms of stocks. When the government inflates their currency, usually anything priced in that currency tends to rise alongside with it. This is exactly why Goldman Sachs just raised their S&P 500 target to 8,000 this week. Morgan Stanley and Deutsche Bank are also in the same ballpark with 17% growth. And AI is giving corporations a real fundamental reason to justify a lot of that optimism. On top of that, when you look at current valuations, this has been playing out exactly as described. The market has continually hit all-time highs. The M2 money supply keeps increasing at the same pace as the stock market, and we're on target for a $50 trillion national debt by 2030. But here's where the numbers get a little crazy. The stock market right now is expensive, and the amount that investors are paying for earnings is now at some of the highest levels.
Mandy jumping in on the chat, asking the real questions, right? Saying, who is this debt owed to? It's a national debt, right? Can't the government just wipe it? If it is the government's. Yeah, good question. From what I understand, it's connected in many ways, and different countries own different countries' debt. So it's all like, if you just imagine all the countries together financially like a spider web, and this country owns this one's debt, and this one owns this one's debt, and that's allegedly how I understand it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
ever recorded, roughly double what investors have paid historically. And when you look at the CAPE ratio, which is a longer-term version of exactly what we're talking about, it has only ever been above 40 twice, once at the peak of the dot-com bubble and once again today. Or to put it differently, stocks are currently more expensive than they were heading into the 1929 Great Depression and the 2008 financial crisis. And the only time that was more expensive relative to today was the peak of the dot-com mania. That is why there's such a massive difference between the stock market could probably keep going higher long-term in a debt-driven world, and the stock market is mathematically impossible to fall anymore. Because the market isn't just pricing in a debt-driven melt-up, it's recording something that's only ever happened once before in the last 140 years. And the last time that happened, it didn't end so well. So in terms of what this means, if there's truth to the...
Yeah, good question. And Tara says, I think China owns a bunch of our debt, if she's not mistaken. And who are they paying this debt to? That's a good question. Very good question. Unfortunately, it looks like they're making the dollar worth less, allegedly, and then making people work a little bit more, or maybe not. You never know. I think we're like in this limbo time right now where it's kind of sensitive to see where it's going to go and how everything's going to happen. Huge calculus that I think we can only speculate on. I don't know if we actually understand thoroughly what's going on.
The Great Melt-Up theory, and then most importantly, what you could do about it to come out ahead. Here's what you came for. Although before we go into that, building wealth isn't just about earning more, investing smarter, and protecting your money from inflation. It's also...
All right, so I'm always curious, why does the Fed raise interest rates? So higher rates make borrowing expensive, and we got people and businesses, they spend a little bit less, demand falls, and prices stabilize, right? And we have this like time value shift. So when the rates rise, saving becomes more attractive than spending. Your dollars earn more sitting in a bank. This reduces money velocity, how fast dollars circulate through the economy. And inflation isn't just about too much money. It's about money moving way too fast. So the real tool, I think the Fed isn't directly fighting prices. It's controlling the cost of credit. This affects what gets built, borrowed for, and invested in. Asset bubbles form when credit is cheap. Everyone borrows to speculate. And the hidden agenda. Rate hikes also serve a political control function. I think we've witnessed that in some way. They slow economic activity predictably, giving the Fed leverage over employment and growth. And very interesting how certain politicians make these huge investment actions on stocks 15 minutes before they rise or fall. My goodness.
That the debt to GDP ratio is exceeding 100%, which would be true. But as you could see, this previously occurred in the 1950s, and they were able to successfully print their way out of it to the point where the market completely recovered and then kept ripping higher. Which brings me to claim number 2. The only way to make interest payments is to print more money. Again, this one is also not entirely true. Like, I know a lot of people want to believe that there's some dude out there just pressing a button printing money to pay off the debt. But in reality, the government's just able to borrow everything they need to pay the debt by selling treasuries to investors, pension funds, corporations, foreign governments, and anyone else who wants a stable return on their money. Now obviously, that doesn't mean this is sustainable forever, because the more we borrow, the more interest we pay, which means the more we borrow, which means the more treasuries we have to sell. But saying that we have to keep printing more money skips over quite a few steps. Because the real issue isn't whether or not we've hit a breaking point, it's if we're getting closer to that point where every other option becomes a lot more painful. Which leads me to claim 3. Stocks inflate proportionally with hyperinflation. Look, as fun as it is to think that stocks keep ripping higher because they print more money, in reality,
Yeah, Tara Matthews says Nancy Pelosi. I think she was the best at that. Absolutely. How can I learn to trade like Nancy Pelosi? That would be amazing. By the way, make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every single day of 2026, and we have the best chat in the world.
throughout history, that hasn't always been the case. Like, as some real examples here, between 1918 and 1922, the German stock market lost 97% of its value before the hyperinflationary peak. And even though
That's wild. That's a wild time to happen, right?
nominal prices did eventually skyrocket, most people were forced to sell at the very bottom.
Are you serious, bro? 4L Gorath says, like Nancy Pelosi bet on Paula Market last week. Definitely wasn't Trump and his croonies. Oh my goodness. Or was that just a little jab?
To pay for rent and food. Or take a look at Zimbabwe. The stock market rose 500-fold in nominal terms during hyperinflation, then lost 99.8% of its value compared to US dollars. Even Venezuela posted a 22,000% return in 2018, while the economy contracted by over 50%, at which point most people were left progressively poorer. On top of that, we saw something similar happen in the United States throughout the 1970s. Even though inflation averaged around 7% a year, the stock market basically went nowhere after adjusting for inflation. This means on paper, you might think that you have a lot more money, but in terms of purchasing power, you could be in the exact same spot as today. That's why, in terms of what's most likely going to happen next, as well as what you could realistically do about it, here's what you need to know. And it all has to do with the exit plan. As of right now, history has shown us that based on all the past data and every hyperinflation event before us, most likely the United States is not going to default on its debt. The United States is not going to experience unprecedented hyperinflation, and we're probably not going to see a great melt-up based on endless money printing caused from the national debt. Instead, the most realistic outcome is probably a long, drawn-out period of financial repression. When this happens, inflation runs a little higher than interest rates, and over time, the debt becomes easier to manage because every dollar in the future is worth a lot less and therefore easier to pay back. Now, the trade-off here is that savers quietly get squeezed, cash loses value, prices keep moving higher, and asset prices might rise in dollar terms. But after inflation, your returns could be significantly lower than a lot of people have gotten.
Speaking of, that's the reason it's always good to purchase real estate. And if you want to purchase real estate, I have 2 houses listed right now, one in Hollywood and one in Idlewild. Beautiful locations. So if you're interested in that, let me know.
Accustomed to. Or I guess put more simply, even though asset prices go higher, you might not necessarily feel more rich. This would all suggest that we continue to see 3 to 5% inflation cycles. Maybe interest rates drift lower. Occasionally, the market freaks out, but it never completely collapses. At the same time, the government uses a mix of higher taxes, slower spending growth, and inflation to gently manage the debt burden over decades. It's not going to be dramatic, it's not going to be newsworthy, it's just going to quietly run in the background until one day a hamburger starts costing $35. And for the stock market specifically, yes, prices will keep drifting higher because this is what usually happens when the dollar loses purchasing power. But the mindset of stocks go up over time is very different from stocks can't crash along the way. Like, the stock market could still fall 30, 40, 50, 60% and then recover later to brand new all-time highs. These two things could be true at the same time. But again, by all metrics, the stock market is expensive. All it takes is one event for us to...
And I've heard from many people that, you can actually become quite successful with the stock market, but if you know the people who know the people, you can definitely become successful. Outside of that, it's just too hard. Nancy Pelosi was 114 times better than the world's best stock trader. Like, how is that even possible? How is it even possible? But anyways, big ups to Graham Stevens. He got some really cool financial advice if you ever want to check him out. All right, we got Israel, Iran, return to ceasefire agreement after Trump demands end to strikes. What's going on?
I'm Atra El.
Yeah, real estate can be, but from what I understand, if you own your own property, it doesn't lose value. You know, it's always gonna grow, constantly grow. So it's if you can invest in it, might as well. No reason not to.
Nashar in Washington. Israel and Iran say they're halting strikes against each other for now. Sunday's breakdown in the ceasefire further jeopardizing diplomatic efforts to end the war, which just passed its 100-day mark. The week beginning with a broken ceasefire between Iran and Israel.
100-day mark? Wasn't this just supposed to be 2 weeks? A very quick in and out?
Instead of the peace deal President Trump hoped for.
If it happens, it could happen like over the weekend.
Monday morning, President Trump posting, both sides, Israel and Iran, are looking to do an immediate ceasefire. Final negotiations on peace are proceeding, subject to ignorance or stupidity getting in its way. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, whose country is mediating U.S.-Iran talks.
There we go. We got Block Jones jumping on the chat saying SanDisk, Marvel Technology, and Western Digital. 3 awesome stocks. Yeah, Western Digital has always been strong working with memory. SanDisk, I do not know. I haven't been following them. And Marvel Technology. All right, cool. Thank you for giving your suggestion. I can't say I agree or disagree because I'm not a professional in that way. But very kind of you, buddy.
Says, especially when the final objective is just about to be achieved, we sincerely urge all sides to exercise restraint and give peace a little more chance. First, Iran announced they're holding fire, then Israel.
The cessation of operations by the armed forces is hereby announced. However, it is emphasized that should the aggression and hostile acts continue, including in southern Lebanon, much more severe and crushing measures than before will follow.
Iran and Hezbollah are weaker than ever, and we are stronger than ever. But our struggle with them is not over yet. If the terrorist regime makes the mistake and attacks us again, we will respond forcefully.
Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen also stepping into the fight, saying they launched a round of strikes on northern Israel and threatened to target ships affiliated with Israel in the Red Sea. Back here in Washington, President Trump continues to say a deal with Iran is close. Iranian leaders say there's been no progress.
Where can we get like the actual accurate story? Like, is that what that guy said about, you know, potentially attacking Israeli ships on the Red Sea? I'm just curious. Like, we got to figure out. We got to find someone on that side of the earth that can jump on the stream and be like, you know what? That's not actually accurate. What was actually said is this and that. That would be great. So if you know anyone over there, maybe Terry knows somebody over there. Yo, Hugh, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Yeah, if you guys know anybody like on that side of the earth who can actually chime in and jump in on like what's actually happening, we'll figure out a way to like do a little telephone call and do some of that stuff. So that'd be kind of cool just to see both perspectives from what we are shown on the news and what they might be shown on the news and try to find the truth in between these things.
And their latest strikes against Israel also counter what President Trump often says about Iran's military capabilities.
There we go. Robin Huff jumping in the chat saying Pratt didn't collapse. They manufactured however many votes they needed to stop him. And I despise Democrats for that. There you go. There you go. Oh, man. Those politicians. Oi, oi. How you doing, buddy? Oi, oi says buy gold, utilities, food, own nothing. Do not have a Netflix account and use UV Tech for cleaning your water. Yeah, there you go, buddy. There you go. Always a fun time.
In 3 months, I've demolished the Navy, the Air Force, anti-aircraft. They have no radar.
I wonder if they don't have any radar. I wonder, you know, like, obviously I want the best to happen with Trump and the United States, and actually with everybody. You know, I don't want anyone to have the short end of the stick. I think there's a possibility where everyone can find a happy medium and resolve, but yeah, it's a tough one. We got a little update from Blop Jones saying SanDisk was $245 in December. Now it's closer to or maybe above $700 a share. There you go, man. Hugh, you just missed our little stock market talk, buddy. Yeah, Blop Jones is giving us some intel on where we can invest our money to make some money. Allegedly. I'm not giving any advice. I don't know that type of stuff, but I'm always happy to learn.
They have known nothing.
President Trump reluctant to resume full-scale U.S. military operations, but it's not off the table.
My red line would...
And another thing I heard from one of my sources this weekend was Trump just signed an executive order to make it illegal for a father or a mother to talk about their child if they happen to be deceased because of this situation going over there. And what's the reason? So those numbers do not get accurately spread to society, you know, because if they know about this, then number one, the morale can go down. You know, the U.S. is losing troops if it's accurate. I'm not saying it is, but. And another thing is there could be, you know, some type of situation where people don't trust the government as much for whatever reason, you know, so that's very interesting. If I'm wrong, let me know. That's from a source who's usually like very, very accurate.
Would be if I think I wasn't going to make a deal or if I wasn't going to make a deal fast enough.
In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar reporting.
There you go. There you go. Hegseth kicked out of country after a stunt. What?
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was essentially kicked out of Normandy in France. They are declaring him persona non grata right there and saying never come back to Normandy after Hegseth gave this awful speech where he attacked European countries when he was on the hollow grounds of Normandy, which was supposed to be this solemn ceremony about D-Day and how allies came together, the United.
Yeah, Pamadomane says they have no nothing, yet they keep effing up the U.S., Israel, and their Gulf. I heard him say, yeah, they have no nothing. That was a funny one.
Yeah. Breaking today.
Israel issues urgent warning to South Lebanon.
The U.S. military enforcing its blockade of Iran as an F-18 Super Hornet disables a tanker in the Gulf of Oman, striking its engine and steering systems. The message from CENTCOM, that ship is not going any further. Welcome to a new hour of America Reports. I'm John Roberts in Washington. Sandra, good to be back with you.
And you as well, John. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. The U.S. military flexing its power as Israel today puts an end to strikes on Iran after facing fresh attacks from Tehran's terror proxy, Hezbollah.
A new analysis from the Institute for the Study of War suggests Iran is casting itself as the reasonable actor in the conflict, even though its ally Hezbollah helped trigger this latest round of fighting.
Our chief national security correspondent Jennifer Griffin is reporting live out of Washington. She's got the latest for us. Jennifer?
Sandra, here's a timeline of events since Sunday. Hezbollah fired rockets into northern Israel Sunday morning. Israel responded with airstrikes targeting Hezbollah in southern Beirut Sunday afternoon. Iran then fired ballistic missiles at northern Israel Sunday night. President Trump told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to respond for fear of escalation that would derail delicate talks. Then dozens of Israeli warplanes bombed Iranian air defenses across Iran Monday morning. morning. Iran then fired back, and the Houthis in Yemen fired a single missile at Israel. In the Gulf of Oman, an American F-18 Super Hornet launched from the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier and fired precision munitions into the engineering and steering compartments of a Palau-flagged tanker, the MT Marivex, after the vessel reportedly tried to skirt the blockade and reach Iran. CENTCOM says since the blockade began on April 13th, the U.S. military has disabled 7 cargo vessels and tankers and redirected 134 others away from Iranian ports. It has allowed 42 ships carrying humanitarian aid through the blockade. The U.S. carried...
Tom Lurk says, if the AI bubble collapses, the entire stock market's screwed, like completely over. Very interesting. What do you mean by that? Would like to know a little bit more about that. That's a very cool point. And I think something a lot of people are actually thinking about. But do you actually think that AI is not going to be around for a while? It's going to crash. It's always possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but what do you think?
Out strikes last week against Iran's coastal surveillance radar sites in Gorak and on Keshem Island after the IRGC sent naval vessels into the strait to lay mines and fired missiles at Kuwait and other Gulf targets. This is new video released by CENTCOM of those strikes. And though the exchange of missiles has stopped for now, the Israeli IDF just issued a warning to Lebanese residents in...
So if you're a member for the first... Oh, these ones. Oh, that's Oi Oi. There you go. Oi Oi won some. Yo, Alex, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Oi Oi won some member badges. And then there you go. We threw them in there.
Southern Lebanon to leave their homes entire, indicating the airstrikes against Hezbollah targets, Sandra, are likely to resume, which will then provoke Iran and the IRGC to begin firing again, a well-known cycle in the Middle East that many fear will derail any sort of permanent ceasefire and long-term agreement.
And Hugh, if you have any ideas for some new emojis, let me know, man. We can make some.
Regarding Iran's nuclear program or the Strait of Hormuz. Sandra?
Got it. Jennifer Griffin live with the update out of Washington for us. Thank you. John?
Be sure to
John. Mr. John. Johnny boy. Man, just incredible machines. Just flying through the air, this heavy metal. Absolutely brilliant. So they want a ceasefire, Israel and Iran, and then they're attacking each other. What's going on over here? What's going on over here? It sounds like a very toxic relationship. Alcohol and jealousy might be involved.
Meanwhile, Fox News alert Israel and Iran trading fire overnight with the most strikes we've seen in months.
But President Trump posting on Truth Social just a few minutes ago saying that Israel and Iran are looking to do an immediate ceasefire as, quote, final negotiations on peace are proceeding.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yinks joins us live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Good morning, Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning.
A dude with blue hair doing that. Oh man, is he gonna have one of these?
And it's been about 3 hours since the last explosions were reported in the Iranian capital of Tehran. The Israelis
Waffle, how you doing, buddy?
going on offense after they came under waves of Iranian ballistic missile attacks overnight. This all started yesterday afternoon when the IDF struck the Lebanese capital of Beirut, hitting the Hezbollah stronghold, the Dakhia neighborhood in the southern part of the city. Iranian officials then threatened to target Israel and later launched 4 waves of ballistic missiles toward the northern part of this country, sending hundreds of thousands of people into bomb shelters. As we were reporting here from Tel Aviv, we could see these missiles soaring through the skies of Israel. I was on the phone with President Trump getting his reaction in real time. President Trump told me what I would suggest to Iran: you've shot your missiles, that's enough. Get back to the table and make a deal. The president said this certainly isn't going to help negotiations. Now,
World of Free Speech says ADTX meeting 11th. Either it crashes or it goes sky high. Jeffrey Bush is involved. Jeffrey Bush. How's Jeffrey Bush involved? And who's Jeffrey Bush? ADTX. Sounds, is that like crypto maybe? Never heard of that one. Unknown EM jumping in on the chat saying alcoholism is a factor of success in life. It sure is for some people. Absolutely. In moderation, I think, not too much.
Israel, around 4:10 a.m. local time, launched widespread airstrikes across Iran, targeting
That's a heavy one, dude. Wheelchair emoji with a clown face.
in both the central and western parts of that country, going after many of the air defense systems
We got a drinking, buddy.
there. Then early this morning around sunrise, the Houthis from Yemen that are backed by the Iranian regime launched ballistic missiles toward Israel, triggering sirens here in Tel Aviv. And then the Iranians launched more ballistic missiles in 2 separate waves toward this country, sending millions of people into bomb shelters. So quite an eventful 24 hours across the region. And
They're like, you guys have not been exercising enough. We're going to start scaring them and making them run to bomb shelters. Horrible, horrible. Man, this is a bad situation. It's got to be cleaned up. Anyone have any intel on when this is all going to be done?
and questions about if both sides are willing to cease fire. Guys?
Trey, several things. They're launching these ballistic missiles, and I know that we took out a lot of their ballistic missiles. Where do they stand as far as their arsenal now? And what caused this? Why do you think that Israel and Iran started trading fire all of a sudden?
No, he says moderation, question mark. Now, I was like, what's he saying that for? And then I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, drink in moderation. I thought you were talking about some other type of moderation. I was like, what did I say, dude? I just said something pretty bad.
The president indicated over the weekend the Iranians still have around 20% of their ballistic missile arsenal. The number could be even higher, but it speaks to how dangerous these missiles can be, even if they've been degraded in the aftermath of Operation Epic Fury, that 40-day military operation against the Iranian regime that was carried out alongside Israeli forces. In terms of the current state of affairs and why we are seeing this exchange of fire right now, it comes down to one reason, and that is that the Iranians are trying to tie the issue of Lebanon and their support of the largest proxy they have in the region, Hezbollah, to the broader negotiations with the United States. They say if the Israelis strike Hezbollah, they will strike Israel. And that is why we are seeing this ballistic missile fire toward this country today. Remember, the Israelis have a tiered air defense system starting with the Iron Dome. It then goes up to David Sling. They have the Arrow 2 and 3 system. Beyond that, but they've also got U.S. systems on the ground, including Patriot and THAAD missile defense systems that we are told were working to shoot down some of that incoming fire overnight.
Yeah, moderation is basically like getting into the mode of rations. So, separating things. I think that's what it means, right?
Trey, the other thing was the Houthis get involved out of nowhere. We heard they were going to get involved before they haven't. The one worry the Saudis have, where the
Houthis,
many worries, is that they'll shut down the Red Sea. And according to Arab News, they announced that the Houthis claim missile attack on Israel and announced Red Sea shipping ban. Have you heard anything more about that?
Yes, the Houthis have announced that they are effectively closing Bab al-Mandab, which is the equivalent of the Red Sea Strait of Hormuz. When we look at the two shipping lanes, you have the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz that goes into the Gulf of Oman that has been the main focus of Iranian aggression throughout the past 2 months, and that is the area where you have the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports. But then when you go further west to the Red Sea, you have the Bab al-Mandab, which is largely considered the gateway to the Red Sea. And the Houthis have the ability to launch missiles and drones at this area and disrupt international shipping lanes. It's around 12% of the world's shipping that goes through this area. And if they're effective in this effort, it could make the negotiations even more complicated. The Iranians are running out of levers to pull. They understand that the U.S. naval blockade is crippling their economy. They also understand that the U.S. and Israeli militaries remain on high alert if this military operation unravels into a broader conflict like we saw earlier this year. And so Iran is trying to flex what they have left of their proxies in both Yemen and in Lebanon. That is something that both U.S. and Israeli officials are not going to allow. The president has indicated both Israel and Iran are interested in returning to ceasefire. Now, the question is if both sides will be willing to do so in the hours ahead. If they are unwilling to do so, both Israeli and Iranian officials have...
I heard some sirens. I guess it's behind this guy. He's got some sirens going on.
Indicated in separate press briefings this morning that they are prepared for days of battle ahead. Again, President Trump indicated in a call with Fox News overnight he prefers the diplomatic solution here. He is trying to reach a deal with the Iranian regime that would do a few separate things. One, it would open the Strait of Hormuz, that critical international shipping lane.
Oi, jumping on the chat saying, my third wife said you have a drinking problem. So I looked into the liquor cabinet and responded, no, I do not. The liquor cabinet is full.
It would address Iran's growing nuclear ambitions and the enriched material that remains in their country. And finally, it would de-escalate tension across the region. The president is looking...
He just said it like a few days ago. He said, like, we've destroyed all of their radars. We've destroyed so many of their ships. And yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting going on. Something's going on, right?
To avoid a scenario where there is an endless war in the region. He is trying...
There you go, Matt saying, how about just stop invading countries that aren't threatening us? Just another distraction from Island Man. That needs to be released. Unredacted. Do you see that? That the Island Man who's, was that like Florida Disco Pete? He's getting his teeth fixed because allegedly he has the same like tooth pattern as Island Man. That's wild.
Trying to reach a deal with the Iranian regime. So far, there have been a number of points challenging to reach at the negotiating table, but the president has these top negotiators, including Special Envoys Witkoff and Kushner, who were able to reach an agreement between Israel and Gaza to end the war there about a year and a half ago. And now the president is trying to do the same thing while encouraging Gulf countries to normalize ties with Israel and create a sense of stability across the Middle East.
Great job out there, Trey. I would just say we had the chief of staff for the Crown Prince, exiled Crown Prince. And he said if a deal were to happen, they're going to be in a worse spot as far as the people there. I understand that the interests are different when it comes to our national security and what the people may say. But the people of Iran are saying, you know, this is going to put them in a worse position if it did, because it's the same regime.
You got to be clear in your statements, man. You can't just say certain things in the chat. We got the smartest and best chat in the world, y'all. So
regime in place. True, there's different leaders in place, but it's the same organization structure. So
it takes about 2 weeks. I think the president's got to finish the job, and he's got sentiments in the White House. You know, some in the White House don't want that, but most Republican senators on Capitol Hill would fully support it. You know, you hear Roger Wicker, head of Armed Services, and Senator Tom Cotton, Lindsey Graham. The president knows what he has to do, knows the arsenal, had a good chance to see what's happened over the last 8 weeks. Now they stupidly have brought out all their launchers. Now they're exposed. And now with Israel, and I think they have a game plan ready to go. I think the American people would support going 2 weeks to finish the job.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the...
There you go. Like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Going live every day of 2026. Become a member. Throw in a super chat if you want. This is from Fox News Direct. Shout out to Fox News. All right. So Penn Station poking with a sharp object sparks some major security concerns ahead of Trump visit. All right.
6 people are hurt in a stabbing attack at New York City's Penn Station last night, leaving one seriously injured.
Who's that? The guy right there.
Yeah, there's the guy.
Oh, they put a little baggie over his head so he doesn't spit on people or bite people. This dude's not well.
stabbing sparking major security concerns as it happened right underneath MSG, Madison Square Garden, where our president is set to attend tonight's NBA Finals game.
Yep, it will be Game 3. Alex Hogan's live in Bedminster, New Jersey with the details. Alex.
Hi, Brian.
Oh, was that? Are you in Israel? That's cool. Thank you for letting us know. Let me check the link actually right now because that's interesting.
Meanwhile, Fox.
I'm always ready to fact check. Yeah, so 21 hours ago. This is from 21 hours ago. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that, right? Yeah, that's from 21 hours ago. And if the news is lying, that'd be the first time, man. The news never lies, bro. I hope there's no rocket alerts ever on Earth. That would be great.
And Lawrence. So President Trump spent.
Yeah, Rowdy Cole says, also a country they sold F-4s and F-14s to. Yep. Yep.
His weekend here in New Jersey at his Bedminster Golf Club. He's expected to hold executive time today, and then he will
Cheers, Jason Beasley. Good to see you, buddy.
travel to New York, as you mentioned, for New York's one of the largest sporting events it will hold in decades. It comes amid these new security concerns because it was yesterday evening around 7 p.m. that police reported those first calls of violence.
Can we just get some W's in the chat for a woman who actually looks like a woman? Yeah. All right. More support for the women who look like women.
At Penn Station, 6 people were injured in this stabbing. You can see in some of the footage we have of last night of law enforcement securing the perimeter. Again, this took place at Penn Station, the major hub to the city. One suspect was taken into custody. He was described as being emotionally disturbed. According to the fire department, one person suffered serious injuries. 4 people have moderate or minor injuries, and 6 people altogether were taken to the hospital.
I think the chaos of this and things similar to this is sort of becoming regular, which is scary as someone who uses Penn Station and J Transit frequently.
Penn Station is directly below Madison Square Garden, which will host Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight, which again the president is expected to attend. And the NYPD.
How you doing, Bronzewing?
PD and Secret Service are working to secure the perimeter. President Trump spoke about attending that game.
I think the Knicks have an amazing team, the way they played. Started off slow, and it just got stronger and stronger.
You know what the biggest problem is with these idiots that commit crimes? They're just, they're giving law enforcement more rights to F with random people because of one idiot's mistake, you know? Like, probably a lot of you are too young, but there is a time where we did not have TSA the way it is now. You know, just like, go ahead. And now they just hire all these people and get them on these prescription things to make them act really slow, a lot of them. Or if they're not on those, they're on other ones that make them act very angry or nervous or whatever. And it just changes the whole dynamic of traveling, and they try to make traveling not fun again, you know. But traveling is extremely important. You got to see different cultures, and if you can, if you're into that, put yourself into new situations to explore and to hear different languages, taste different foods, hear different jokes, and hear the racist people from other countries. They are so funny. Oh my gosh. It doesn't matter. Because every country has their own like little racist things towards other countries. And like you could be not even associated with it, but it's just so funny because they just make jokes about each other all the time. And a lot of the times, actually most of the time, it's just, you know, like what would you say? Nothing like violent, like they don't want to commit harm, they just want to make jokes. So yeah, jokes are great. Travel if nothing else for the jokes.
Watch parties outside MSG for Game 2 took a turn on Friday. New York City police said that they arrested 17 individuals, including one person who struck a police officer in the face. New York City Mayor Mondami, who's expected to also attend tonight's game, has urged fans to celebrate responsibly. Although to protect the event tonight, the city can expect road closures nearby. Officials say that there will be SWAT teams and evidence collection teams that are going to be deployed and ready to assist. As for the attendees who are going to be attending the game, the Secret Service says that Secret Service level screening, similar to what you would see at an airport, will be taking place at the event. The Knicks are also reminding anyone who do attend that there is a limit on what you can.
There you go. There's a time you can enjoy a scotch and a cigar on your flight across the pond. Yeah, the good old days, man. The good old days.
Bring, and essentially to try to limit however much you can bring, really trying to crack down on this security presence, given the high level of anticipation we expect to see there tonight, guys.
Right, Alex, and one thing they made clear, it's not the president's presence is not the reason they stopped the outdoor get-together. It's because of what you showed in that video, the arrest it took.
Jeb Common dropping some common sense. There you go, buddy. Saying you never see Republicans acting this way.
Place afterwards, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. 17 people had been arrested.
Yeah.
Of course, there's going to be more attention around the event because of anytime we see the president, there's a large security presence that has to travel with him. But this, again, just raises more concerns of the violence that we saw just last night at Penn Station, which, again, for
Forgot how to drink.
people who don't live in New York, like, of course you do, Penn Station is right below Madison Square Garden, where all of this is set to take place.
Yeah, it's on the garden's on the 7th floor. Thanks so much, Alex.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Glad you mentioned that. Some other networks were saying.
Yeah, it's not
I
the
was
president's
watching
fault.
this morning. It's canceled because the president's going to be there.
Yeah, I'm worried if they do win. I'm worried about the violence that you saw in Paris. I'm serious. And Detroit in the past, and they haven't won in 53 years, and people are going to be crazy. Just don't get so drunk and ruin everything.
Yeah.
It's so weird how people are amped about the Knicks. Like, there's have you guys been seeing the clips? These people are just going super wild. They're like saying outrageous things like, I'll do this if the Knicks win. It's like, it's just a basketball game. Just a basketball game. How you doing, Chili? Yeah. I guess enjoy the athleticism of a basketball game, but, you know, don't try to say you're going to do something absolutely wild and out of character just because a team won, you know. And, who knows? Maybe if their team wins, they win something too. One of those situations.
Bottom line is the president's probably going to be in a box. But he was debating on Friday whether to be on the floor.
Because there's that iconic photo of.
True. Jeb Common says citizens and businesses do not have to board up windows and call in National Guard ahead of Republican protesting. There you go. How you doing, Linda Mays? The Knicks are a basketball team in New York. I don't know if anyone in the chat knows if the Knicks are favorites, but I think they won recently, and people were just like screaming drunk in the streets, and just there's people doing street interviews, and these guys are saying some wild stuff. So, oh, great, Linda. I'm happy you're doing good.
Of him back in the day,
he was
when you see him on the floor, and you see that shot of him looking at the game. So there were people that wanted him to do that photo again. Obviously, he's president of the United States now.
Yeah.
It's just not the most secure way to have the president. There's going to be a Secret Service briefing. The person that's over, the director of Secret Service for the New York area, is going to be with the NYPD at 8:30. We're going to drop into that press conference, let you know what's going on.
The first time a sitting president has gone to.
But he really loves sports.
Yeah, he does. And he grew up
I wish you were wrong. Oi, oi. I'm not going to read that, but I wish you were wrong, buddy.
here.
Yeah, he went to the Super Bowl, too. That was first.
Be sure to like.
Oh, yeah. Trump urged to finish off Iran's military targets. All right. All right.
So right now, a potential return to a ceasefire in the Middle East as Iran and Israel appear to halt their strikes after.
Yeah, sometimes they do. And what's even worse is like when people from opposing teams get into fights just because they have a favorite player on one of the teams and they were spoke bad upon or just because their team lost. It's like, don't ruin your life because of a soccer game. You know, it doesn't make sense, man. Or people fight over it. So people get paid to fight in the UFC. If you want to fight, just go join the UFC or join a boxing club. You know, no reason not to. Fighting's fun. It's great. Get to learn how to defend yourself. Every man should know how to fight, you know, to at least to an extent. And yeah, it's great to fight, but that's what distinguishes civilians from prisoners, you know, that little self-control of like, okay, yeah, you called me the B word or the P word, and I'm just going to walk away, you know, unless you make me defend myself, and that's different, right?
Just trading fire overnight, the first strike since the April ceasefire between those two, but there's been a lot going on since the April ceasefire. First off, let's take a look. April 8th, ceasefire between U.S., Israel, and Iran takes hold. It's fragile. Hours after
Thank you, Hugh. Appreciate it, buddy.
the ceasefire, Israel strikes Hezbollah terrorists because Hezbollah doesn't stop hitting Israel. They got drones from Russia that right now are fiber optics and tough to detect, so they're doing a lot of damage in the north. Iran says the attacks violate the ceasefire agreement, but we don't control what's happening when a terrorist organization bombs an ally, do we? Meanwhile, in May, this is a heck of a ceasefire.
Thank you, Wolf. Appreciate it, brother.
As you see, it's a slow build. Iran attacks the UAE. Why? Because they're there. Iran attacks merchant ships and transiting the Strait of Hormuz. Why? Because they suddenly think they control the strait, although it's international waters. The U.S. strikes back. Now watch things ratchet up. It comes June. We have Iran saying they suspended peace talks. Why? Because they can't get their act together.
Yeah, AJ just says peace, peace, peace. Everyone wants peace. When are we going to have some peace, right?
They got the extremists and they got the so-called moderates who are also extremists, but not as extreme as the one amongst them. And they cited operations in Lebanon. The operations aren't the Israel against Lebanon, it's against Hezbollah, who they are financing, they are supplying, and they are training to bomb Israel. Think that through a second. 2 days later, Iran strikes Kuwait. Why? Because they think they're unarmed and they can strike easily and do some damage because they can't hurt us. And then June 6th, again, Iran targets our vessels in the strait, so we hit them back. Iran targets Bahrain and Kuwait because they can't do any damage to us. They get frustrated and they want the Gulf states to begin to turn on us, so they start bombing them and they get nervous because they're not necessarily strong armies. They do have strong defense, but not against, let's say, drone swarms. And then the next day, Hezbollah fires missiles against Israel because they didn't sign on to the peace deal, even though they called the president and said they would. Israel strikes back because they're not going to be patsies. And then Iran fires missiles at Israel. Israel returns fire. That's where we're at right now. Now let's discuss it with KT McFarland. Used to work for the first Trump administration, dates all the way back to Henry Kissinger, and knows what a problem Iran has been. KT, your thoughts where we're at right now. It seems that America getting back involved is inevitable. Do you see it the same way?
Ultimately, yes. Because what's happening is, as you very rightly pointed out, Iran is fractured. The leadership is fractured. They have the moderates and the so-called pragmatist moderates and then the crazies. It's really just they have the crazies and then they have the craziers. And the craziers are the IRGC. And so every time the moderates seem to come up with some kind of an agreement, a ceasefire agreement, a potential peace plan, it's the extremists, it's the IRGC that sabotages it, doing all the attacks that you've just outlined. So what's the end solution? Can you trust them? Absolutely not. Even if you've got an agreement with Iran, the extremists, the IRGC would probably sabotage it. So what do you need to do? You need to prevent their ability to break the agreement. Can't not just verify, not just make sure they're doing it, but to have an absolute ability to stop them from breaking the agreement. How do you do that? I think you're right. You ultimately have to go in and finish the military targets, not the energy targets, not the other things, but the military targets.
So KT, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So, KT, you know the president is thinking. He has good instincts. He wants peace, obviously, but he's not afraid to use military might. What do you think he's waiting on? Because all indications, to Brian's point, shows that...
There we go. U.S. President Jameson says, let's go USA.
They're not serious about a deal.
Yeah, you see, I think President Trump, he's the only guy in the picture who is looking at the bigger picture. Israel, we have the same objectives as Israel does, but maybe a different priority. Everybody wants Iran to have no nuclear weapons. We got that. But then after that, Israel's priority is its own security in the region. That means Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran. Our priority, and particularly President Trump's priority, is he's looking at a much bigger picture. He wants a total realignment in the Middle East. You know, and he said it. Now, the thing about President Trump is he says what he means. It's just he says so much, sometimes people don't pick up on what's important and what's not. He has said that he wants every country in the region, including maybe Iran, if we get a deal with them, to join the Abraham Accords. So right now, President Trump has to worry about Israel. He's got to worry about Iran. But he's also got to worry about those Gulf Arabs that he wants to join the Abraham Accords. Countries like Saudi Arabia, countries like Kuwait, because they have been hesitant. And they've been sort of saying to President Trump, look, you know, if you go, quote, finish the job, maybe the job gets expanded, maybe our oil fields are attacked. So President Trump's got to navigate all of these different voices, all of these different interests. For the end, though, which is he wants peace in the Middle East.
Yeah, and KT, you've told our producers, you said this can't go on much longer. We have midterms, and they have a collapsing economy and society. KT, we're a press conference soon on MSG and the security there, because the president will be there tonight at the game. So thank you so much for coming on. You're always the best to talk to about this. We appreciate it.
Just the best. Absolutely wonderful. What a pleasure to watch. And it's kind of wild how POTUS, President of the United States, is telling people where he's going to be at certain times. You know, he's like, I'm going to be at the game. I'm a cowboy. I don't care. I'll do it. Now, allegedly, it's a race to the bottom.
Well, it's deny, deflect, and look the other way for Democrats as new disturbing Graham
How are you doing? I don't know how to read your name, but how you doing?
Plattner scandals rock the main Senate race just before the primary next Tuesday. Several of Plattner's ex-girlfriends stepping forward with scathing allegations in the New York Times alleging volatile behavior, including verbal disparagement, heavy drinking, physical abuse, and that Plattner knew the meaning of his Nazi tattoo. Long before he claimed he did. But the scandal-plagued candidate is trying to weather the storm by running to the friendly terrain of MS Now.
Anything alleging physicality, anything alleging that I knew what my tattoo was, these are the statements of someone who's politically motivated.
Are there texts of yours, pictures of yours floating around out there?
I'm not worried about it.
And you have that you confirmed that you knew their age?
Yes. Oh, God. I mean, yeah. Yes, of course.
How does she know it's a Nazi tattoo in August of last year and you don't know it's a Nazi tattoo in August of last year?
I will say that I certainly didn't know.
Many Democrats are turning a blind eye to the avalanche of accusations. Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse says he's not impressed. Quote, seems like a lot of nothing. I mean, the only one who had anything to say that seemed unsettling was a woman who works for right-wing political operations.
Those are women. Those are women. I'll tell you.
Joining us now for tonight's big close-up.
We got a snap crack down. Trump administration targets alleged food stamp fraud.
As Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins.
Gaslighting. He could be. He could be. You never know. He kind of seems like the guy that does carry a little bit of gas in the back of his truck for that gaslighting purposes right there.
Secretary Rollins, it's great to have you. I think it's no secret to the panel that American ranchers are very, very important to me, and we've been hearing about this screwworm for a while now. It feels like it's kind of come home to roost. What can you tell us about the containment policy? What can be done to make sure that these American ranchers don't lose everything?
Well, that's right. First of all, Tommy, it's great to be on with you and the team. I think this is my first time on your show, so it's an honor. Second, Tyson is a good friend, and he's just a remarkable American patriot, so I always love hearing him. But yes, to your point, this week, for the first time in more than 60 years, a case of the New World screwworm. Other than a couple of one-offs, there was a horse a couple of months ago from Argentina, maybe last year. 2017 had some pets in Florida that had been shipped in, but this is different. The first time in 60 years, we have confirmed two cases of the New World screwworm in South Texas. Here's what this means. We had basically eradicated it from our country for all.
Hugh, are you telling me you never gotten drunk and woken up in a car in a parking lot, and you have no idea where you are? No, I agree with you, but it's possible. You never know. It's just like those old days when people got those tattoos of languages that they don't understand. It says like refrigerator on the inside of their bicep, and
all those decades, all those years ago. And what happened was with the open border policies and the Mexican cartel illicit movement of cattle, it broke the Darien Gap and began moving.
No one's going to hate on you having Sarah Palin on your back as a tattoo.
Our way in 21 and 22. And of course, the last administration didn't do one thing about it. When we walked in early last year, someone presented me with all of this and they said, all of the models are showing it will be in America by last summer. And I said, well, we got to do everything we can to contain it, keep it out, and prepare to the point that if it does hit, we're going to be ready. And that's where we are today. The only way to defeat this, Tommy, is through what's called sterile flies, which mate with the female flies. The screwworm is actually a fly, believe it or not, and it lays its eggs into open wounds of any warm-blooded animal. And so once that pest gets in, that larva gets in, it begins to do some serious damage. But we've got eyes on the cattle in South Texas. Once we spot it, we can solve for it, which is why it's so important to report this. And the animal will be fine. One important point of this is not a virus. It does not affect the food supply. So all the food will be completely safe. But we got to beat it back. We got to get back south of the border, back across the Darien Gap, and eradicate this forever. And we're doing that. We're building all of the infrastructure to make sure that will happen.
Secretary Rollins, this is Joe Concha. Can New World screwworm, it's not a word that you say very often, can that affect humans, and can it be prevented?
Well, here's the thing. It is to the point where if there are some humans that get affected, not usually in our country, but if you have a gaping wound and you're moving through in the caravans, then some humans not in America have been affected, but it won't affect our country and humans. But for live,
if you're not an American in a different country, it could affect you. Great timing, tree gnome villager. Absolutely.
Livestock, that's where we're really focusing. I'll be down at the command center in Kerrville, Texas tomorrow. I'll be on a ranch where we found it a couple days ago on Thursday, and we're working really hard to make sure we fully understand. Listen, the Texas Animal Control, the Texas governor, they're our partners in all of this, and we're solving for it. But there's no doubt that for our cattle guys, it's a really scary time. But this is different than the 50s too, with the technology, the medicine, and we're dropping about 10 million sterile flies a week in Texas, and we're building that capacity.
That's a little weird, bro. Now I see what Connecting Rabbit Holes is saying. The green fly. They're dropping sterile flies. You know, it's always like that. Oh, I'm doing something good for you. What? What's actually going on? Sterile flies. They're talking about population control. If these flies are sterile, I hope they can't transfer that to human beings, right? My goodness. Oh my gosh. Who knows what's going on over here? They'll use the cows or the flying pigs. They've done this before. It's not my first rodeo.
Capacity up, so more to come on that.
Thank you.
All right, Secretary Rollins, we're going to turn now to the Trump administration that's deploying a massive effort to root out billions in wasted taxpayer dollars by targeting food stamp fraud across the nation. You said on Thursday that the Biden administration is a large...
Oh my God, dude. What some people did to Africa, horrible, bro. Horrible. And America. And in certain cities in America. I don't even want to get involved in allegedly those proven things that were, dropped off of buildings and thrown into the air in certain neighborhoods in America. Unreal, man. Unreal. Just know that if they have tested certain things on American citizens, what makes you think they're not going to do it now? Without a warning, they've done it before, so... Joel Kindra says, I'm leaving the country soon. Gotta go. Man, nah, don't be afraid, man. Don't be afraid. Well, leave if you want. Absolutely. Do what you want. You have your own free will. But America is a beautiful place. There's a lot of weird. I can't say that. America is a beautiful place, man. It's a very, very beautiful place. But there's a lot of other nice places too on Earth.
To blame for this fraud.
Yep.
I'd love for you to tell us more about it and what you guys are doing to fix it.
Well, we've been talking about this, I think, within the very first hour of me walking in the door for this job on February 13th of last year. We sent a letter to every governor in America. No one had ever held the states accountable. The federal government funds the food stamp program. We send hundreds of millions of dollars a day to the states, but there'd never been a back.
I'm trying to understand what JTFM is trying to say. Doge got rid of the protective and monitoring systems that were in place. This is reactive and not preventative. The protective and can you please explain yourself? I don't know. Maybe it's not working for me right now. You could be right. I could be wrong. I just don't understand.
Back end accountability.
And thank you for the chat, by the way.
On how is that money getting spent? So we asked all the states to partner.
Yeah, there you go, bro. Yeah. Thank you for your service. W's in the chat for Joel Kindred. That's cool. I'm happy you're not afraid. Not scared. That's good. And there's nothing wrong with fresh fruit, bro. That's the life. And the beach life, yeah, man. There's some countries that don't spray those things on their foods. And when you taste like a persimmon from there, it's just so sweet and there's so much flavor. It's unexplainable, just unreal. You know, if you travel to other places on Earth and have food, another reason traveling is so important. You go there and their food is just so good. And you go to like France or Italy and you're like, well, these people are eating lasagna, they're eating bread, why? And they're drinking wine often, they're eating cheese. Why are they not fat? Well, what do you think they put in their cheese and in their wine and in their breads? They're not putting the same stuff Americans are putting in their foods. And it tastes so much better. Oh my God. If you get a chance to go to any of those places and just have some food, even at like a corner bakery, unreal.
With us, it's time to have accountability. The red states, of course, did.
Yeah, health and safety regulations in Europe.
And with that red state data, we found 200,000 dead people getting food stamps. We found 500,000 people that were getting more than one benefit. And y'all, this was in the red states. The blue states wouldn't give us the data. They're suing us. We're in massive litigation right now, looking to cut those funds off.
Welcome, Joel. Happy to have you here, buddy.
Until they give us that data. But the fraud is so rampant and so stunning that when the president, the vice president, and our team talks about, when we can root all this fraud out, we're going to really be able to cut the deficit, make sure we're protecting the taxpayer, but also make sure we're protecting the families that rely on these programs at the same time and by getting the fraud out.
Yeah, it's really shocking that you have blue states that wouldn't want to root out food stamp fraud because that's taking away from Americans who need that benefit. And also, something you and I have talked about in the past, if you shore up this benefit, you can actually improve the quality of the food that's going to poor children. So it doesn't become this elitist thing where only middle class and rich kids get good food and poor kids get lower quality, ultra processed food.
Well, and that's a whole other silo of this that's very important, Rachel. We've had 22 states, including one or two blue states, submit waivers, and we have granted those waivers. No more sugary drinks.
Sleepy Watcher, are you a baseball fan?
No more junk food that will be purchased by food stamps to make those with the least among us even more sick. And at the same time, we've required all of the 250,000 retailers that take the food stamps, the EBT cards, to stock more than twice the healthy food if they.
Nice, JTF saying they do have ways in which to monitor and assess fraud. She did not mention this. How dare her? Come on, lady.
want to use if they want to take food stamps. So we're really working to make America healthy again through our nutrition programs at USDA while cutting all of that fraud out. Y'all probably didn't see, but I had a kind of a nasty exchange with Angie Craig, who's the Democrat from Minnesota, at my hearing last week.
I'm happy that they actually changed the food pyramid, allegedly, and now it's looking much better, healthier. That's great.
And she was just going at me. Well, Minnesota only has 1% fraud. And, USDA says it on their website. I said, Angie, that's what Minnesota self-reported. You can't be serious if you really think that the state of Minnesota has.
Joel, if you're going to the Philippines, you got to talk to Terry. If Terry's in the chat, Terry's in the Philippines. You guys should link up. Cool dude.
1% fraud. And, of course, she's screaming, right?
I think Terry's a dude, right? Yeah, I think Terry's a dude.
I reclaim my time, but it's true. And the average American, Republican and Democrat, don't think that's fair, and they just want us to do better, and that's what we're doing.
Certainly. Well, they certainly have a lot of Leering centers, so maybe she should attend one. Secretary Brooke Rollins, thank you so much for joining us on your first time on the Big Weekend Show. We hope to have you back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex Cleary says nutrition is a fraud. All right. Gonna start hearing some names of alcohol going on over here.
So much, y'all. Great to be on.
Good to see you. All right, Joey, I want to bring it up for a little discussion.
Sure.
I know it seems weird to be hot on a topic like the screw worm.
No.
Tommy Lauren can be hot on any single topic. Is she's... Never mind.
But I'm worried about our American ranchers. I'm happy to hear the secretary say that they feel like they've got it contained. Part of this is those sterile flies. Mm-hmm. I remember reporting on this last year when they said, this is coming. Now it's here. Happy to hear it's going to be contained. We already have...
Never mind, I take it back. I see a wedding ring on her. I wish the best for her and her family and her friends and her community and the good people around her.
High cattle prices. We already have American ranchers going out of business. Mm-hmm. This is a concern.
It is. I'm glad they have a plan. I mean, basically, you're looking at this as a predator. It's an insect predator. It's not a virus, a bacteria. It's the predator. It's the insect itself. She says the way you get rid of it is you dump out genetically modified flies. We were talking about ticks and mosquitoes yesterday, so I'm a little bit skeptical there, but, trust the science, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the way that they get rid of it, and I know that they've had this plan for a while. Rachel, I want to turn to the food stamp fraud. You brought up a great point. Why would blue states not want to have the...
Oh, okay, Sleepy Watcher. I got it. Cool, bro. Thank you. That's a very, very nice way to look at it. The good, bad, nice, and ugly. That's America. There you go. Kind of hard to argue that. I think America has all of that.
Their fraud examined. Why wouldn't they? I mean, they don't want their voter rolls examined. Maybe we know why, but they want more people to be committing fraud in their states as well, perhaps. That's a crazy work.
It is, and it really flies in the face of the left, the Democrat, the blue states saying, we care about Americans. If you care about American citizens, you want to root and the poor. You want to root out fraud. These programs are important. I think that a country. I never believed in that makers and takers thing. There are kids who are poor because their parents are poor and they don't get enough food, or their parents are negligent and they don't get enough food. And as a country, we are wealthy enough to provide that. We should provide quality food. It shouldn't be just for rich kids to be able to have access to meat and non-ultra processed food. But the first step is to make sure that people who shouldn't be getting these things get them. I have a quick question for you. You said last year.
Jeff Common dropping some jabs, saying Democrats are triggered over fraud exposure. It's surprising. A lot of them have been in the chat. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. Yeah. And where's the logical reasoning behind that? I'm just curious, because they're the same as Republicans, and they have to pay their taxes, and their tax dollars go to these, what are they, Ethiopians in Minnesota? It's been such a while. Haitians, Ethiopians. Anyways, yeah. But they're not mad about it. They're like, yeah. We're mad that you're exposing it.
Here with this worm, that they knew it was coming. How did they know it was? I'm still kind of confused by that.
It migrated. They knew it was coming because it migrated. So it's a problem in other.
damage. How you doing, buddy? Oh, Somalians. That's right. Thank you, Somalians.
Other countries.
The Somalian pirates.
And they knew that it was probably going to head up north, and here it is. And hopefully it's being contained right now. But it's one of those things when you have your cattle impacted by this, death loss, as we heard Tyson say, for a lot of American ranchers, that can make a big difference in their entire operation. And for a lot of ranchers that are just barely holding on right now, it could be the thing that ends.
But you don't want to say all migrants are bad. You know, that's proven false. Not all migrants are bad. Just the bad ones are pretty bad.
Their legacy farmer ranch, and we just simply cannot have that. So it's very important to me that we're looking after the American rancher and the American farmer.
We always got a point. Yeah, buddy, saying you need to understand that Democrats' money comes from fraud, so they like paying taxes, more money for them. That makes sense right there.
Joe, kind of tying those two things together. I remember during the first Trump administration when they were talking about food stamps or EBT, SNAP benefits, and they were saying, you know what, maybe we pivot to something like a Great American Basket. Instead of going and buying Red Bull with your EBT, maybe you get American ranching and farming products. Maybe you get some milk and some bread.
Sure.
I loved that idea. I don't know if it was ever fully implemented or it ever got to the final stages, but perhaps we could take advantage of our American ranchers and farmers to help fill a gap.
It certainly would be obviously a pivot from what has not worked for so many decades, where we just keep throwing money at the problem, let's go about this a different way. And just one more thing on fraud. We keep hearing from socialists and Democrats in general, we got to raise taxes to bring more revenue into the government. If you just lasso all of this fraud, that will...
Alex Cleary called for a moment of silence for all the migrants, please. Thank you.
Bringing more money than all the taxes you raise on every billionaire and millionaire and any small business in this country. That we can see.
Yeah, well, we need the food stamp rolls. We need the voter rolls. We need a lot of rolls. All right. I didn't want to talk about Graham Plattner again, but here we are.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
When Trump walked out, this kind of leads me into the next story.
How did this thing come up on the side of my page? I'm going to close this thing. There you go. California's cheating, allegedly. Pratt's primary lead collapses as Raman surges. I see so many people like just hyping up Pratt. I don't get it. I have no idea, honestly. Trigger this. That's right, dude. Let's see what Tommy has to say. LA is going to S-hit ex-Real Housewife Joanna Krupa. Spencer Pratt proves it. Oh, man. Ferguson Legend Jr. says, the West is cooked. Throw some A1 sauce on it. The West is cooked. It's over. It's over. Oh, man. Just beat.
Yeah, what they're doing to Spencer Pratt in California is just a snapshot, another example of why I left California, why so many other patriots left California and are leaving California. It's because there are people there that want to save it. There are people there that understand it's being run like shit and things could be better. And that's not just Republicans, that's every...
Yo, Terry, you're in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. What's his name? There's a cool dude in the chat that's going to go to Philippines. If you guys want to chat, there you go.
Everybody. But the people, the powers that be, they'll never let their grift go. They'll never let it go, okay? So I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Yo, what they're doing...
I don't know. I'm sad she left California. Seems like California definitely needs some very strong, beautiful women like her There you go. Yeah, dude, Filipino. By the way, Terry, are you okay? Wasn't there a volcano in Philippines? Or an earthquake? Yeah, 16 hours ago. At least 35 people extinguished after a major earthquake. Man, hopefully everyone's okay over there, buddy. It's never easy.
This kind of leads me into the next story with Spencer Pratt. So you guys know we talked about it. Like
Terry, but how are the waves? How were the waves? Oh my gosh. Oh man. There's the good and there's the bad of every single situation, you know? Earthquake, horrible, devastating structural damage, very good waves.
Like a week ago, and everybody was expecting him to advance with Karen Bass, and he was going out.
Yeah, in California, you can vote with your Costco membership card from you.
They're celebrating the picture with him and his wife. He had an 8-point lead. And everyone's looking at this chart. If you look at this, Rob, if you want to zoom in a little bit. So the blue is Karen Bass. The orange is Spencer Pratt. And the green is Raman. Now watch what's going on here. June 2nd is election. Look at the difference in lead on where Spencer Pratt is.
Those are fighting words, oi, oi. Yeah, I think that's it.
Look at the third and fourth. And then look at the spike. Look at the spike. So you mean to tell me out of all those thousands of votes, now all of a sudden they only want to do Raman?
That's insane.
That's what they want to do? That's what you mean to, you want me to believe that? And it goes from 71,000 to 153,000. Look how Bass only goes up 30,000, but she goes up 83,000 votes, 82,500 votes. And during that time, only Pratt goes up 44,000 votes. And then they're catching up. And Rob, if you go to the new chart that shows Raman ahead, you will see this. So this is what it's looking like now. Mail-ins arriving before election. Bass 38, Pratt 28, Raman 20. Pratt's got a 28-point lead. Mail-ins arriving after election. Raman 37%, plus 17. Bass goes down 3. Pratt goes down 9. You want people to believe this. Then there's another one. The vote 83% counter translates. Not this one, Rob. The other one where the judge is talking about how they allow people to vote in L.A. And I even send it to you guys. I think you have it, Rob.
All right, so Pratt drops to third place in L.A. mayor's race.
If you go through the notes, you definitely have. This is the one. Watch this. So first go to the bottom for him to show the picture, because I think this is reacting to a picture. If you want to make this a little bit bigger. So he sends this in, talking about what's really going on. Sends it to Honorable Shirley Ann Weber, legal office.
They don't want him to win. You know what he wants to do? He wants to cover up all those potholes in the floor. He wants to save your rims, save your suspension. That's not good for local rim businesses and suspension businesses, right? And can't get too involved with those people that fix the roads. And he also wants to let women walk around in parks with their children without being afraid. Oh my gosh, what a crime. What's wrong with that? Well, the problem with that is you're messing with somebody's money, because the people that are causing those problems are drug users, and they're making a lot of money from these things, allegedly. So, I don't know. Maybe he's barking up the wrong tree, or maybe it's all dual agent situation and more of that deflection stuff. Who knows?
Of Secretary of State.
Yeah, Pratt's got some cool points, man.
Of California, and he goes back and go to the tweet, Rob. Let's go back to the tweet if you can, please. Okay, go all the way to the top. California is blocking. I spoke to Spencer Pratt last night.
Yeah. They're doing reverse psychology. Oh, you voted for Pratt? That means you didn't vote for Pratt, right?
I said, why are they not investigating this? Well, California is blocking a federal audit of its voter polls. California allows first-time voters. Folks, you ready for this? This is not a joke. To register using forms of ID that most Americans would find surprising, including gym membership card. I joked about this on Friday. And I said, I'm just joking. Well, guess what? I was fact-checked, and I wasn't joking. Apparently, that was true. In California, you can actually vote with your Bally Total Fitness card. Can you imagine? You can go with your LA Fitness card and vote. Employer ID, credit.
Oh, bro, I thought you were joking. You could probably, if you could do that, you could probably vote with your Costco card too. Is Costco coming up next?
Card or debit card, prescription.
You can vote with your Leering Center card. Thanks for the idea, Bill.
Drug label, insurance card. And if you think this is BS, Rob, go on the link, because I thought he's just BSing.
You can.
Go on the link. So this is what website, Rob? Can we verify what website this is? sos.california.gov, okay? So go on that first point that says current and valid photo ID toward the party. Look at right there. Go a little bit low, Rob. Look at A, driver's license. B, passport. Identification card, credit card, military identification card, health club identification card, H.
Stop it.
This is on their website, by the way. And I'm sitting there yesterday, I'm like, there's no way this has to be real. So if you go, Rob, right now and ask chat or ask ChatGPT, what are the top 5 slowest states when it comes down to elections, and go to the top 5 fastest states when it comes down to counting ballots. Basic question, okay? And I'm asked this question on Grok, on chat, on pretty much everything I can, because I want to know, chat can lean a little bit on the other side.
Of course.
So watch this, okay? Fastest states, Florida. How the hell does Florida do it fast? The gold standard, okay? Texas. By the way, watch this. This is the other question I ask. Florida.
Bill says, if I can make this up, I'd be rich, bro. There you go.
Red state. Texas, red. Georgia, red. Virginia consistently reports a large percentage of votes on election day. Carolina, red. Now go to the slowest states. Look at the slowest. Why do you think it's slow? California, known as the slowest, frequently the slowest major state, accepts ballots arriving after election day if postmarked on time, extensive signature verification and provisional ballot review. Arizona, Nevada, Alaska, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I think 4 out of 5 of these states are all on the left. Why do you want it to be slower? So when you see the president getting upset with Walker, you're sitting there saying, maybe the guy's got an argument. Matter of fact, let me ask you guys a question. If let's just say, Vinny, Tom, Adam, if let's just say a party.
You guys want to see what Pratt wants to stop?
Yeah, what they're doing.
Oops, not that one. 1 sec, sorry.
Take the Libertarian Party. Take the Green Party, Vinny. Take the Democratic Party. Take the Republican Party, Adam. You go hire the mob, the Italian mafia, and I'm talking old school. You hire them as consultants, and you tell them, hey, what can we do to increase the chances of winning every election we want and not allow the other side to win? What would you advise us to do? What do you think they would say? Okay, imagine you went to the mob, the mafia. Okay, you're asking criminals who do this for a living, what can we do to never lose elections again in our state? What do you think advice they would give you?
The mob?
What would they say is the first thing you got to change? You know what's the first thing I would say? Do whatever you can to not require photo IDs. Check. We did it in California. Number 2, make it as slow as possible so we can count ballots afterwards. Check. Allow mail-in ballots and as long as possible. Check. As long as you do this, don't worry about it. You'll have it under control. You're serious? Oh, yeah. You're going to have it under control. And convince Americans that getting photo IDs is racist.
Racist, brilliant. That's the
Convince them it's racist.
Got it.
Yeah. And convince them it takes very slow. Yeah. It's just hard.
Yeah.
Why you're racist against blacks. You're racist against, and blacks are like, no, what are you talking about? I can get an ID. No, but it's racist because these people don't like you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they don't like you.
Yeah.
That's why they're trying to do this. So then you look at charts. 69% of Democrats, you know what they want? 69% of Democrats want photo IDs for election. You know what the numbers for Republicans? 95, 96%. 83% of Americans want a flippin' ID to vote. And then you want the American people to sit there and believe that if you accept a gym membership, no one's cheating. No wonder the president got upset at Welker. Now, should he have called her stupid or whatever? That's Trump style. He's always been like that. That's a conversation that you can have. But no wonder he can sit there and watch in a state. By the way, as much as I take shots at people in California, you know I do, my Armenian and Syrian and Persian friends. They message me, hey, you're not being fair, you're not doing this. You know what, if you haven't worked with me long-term, face-to-face, like in a company, you don't know my style. You only know me from the podcast and the relationships that we have. You don't know how I challenge, you don't know how I drive. You haven't been with me behind closed doors. Some people have witnessed how I do and what I do there. You don't think I want to see California flip? You don't think I want to see a mayor flip? You know how bad I feel for my friends in LA right now? You know how bad I feel for my friends in California right now? You know how annoyed these people are? These are good people that have said, I'm not leaving.
Zerka, how you doing? How you doing?
And then you do something like this. And you want something to change with this? By the way, do you remember that one interview where Newsom's like, oh, we're not worried about the elections? And he had that smile? This was like 3 weeks ago.
I've sent around the clip. You want to see how, and by the way, that's why he's been so quiet.
No? Bought and paid for? What do you mean? He's got nothing to worry about, right? It's not a competition. He has nothing to worry about. He's just like, it's another day on the cruise ship, right? That's a red flag, if there is one.
Breaking
the glass.
Oh, this is Pat.
Yeah,
look,
exactly.
this is the attitude of exactly. Go ahead.
We all have agencies. We can shape the future. There's still a lot of, look, I've said this.
He did say shape the future.
Before, so I'll repeat it. I don't anticipate this need to be the case, but there is a break the glass scenario. And there's many people that have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out. And we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen.
They're just saying the quiet part out loud.
And Adam,
we're going to do everything possible.
And nobody could do
to make
anything.
sure.
Agencies can shape.
Do something about it.
Agencies could shape the future.
Yeah,
and I'm tired of hearing, Pat, democracy. We're not a democracy, but we have lost the republic.
Pat's instigating. Do something about it, buddy. I dare you.
If this is how it happens in front of our face, we can't do nothing about it. The government can't do nothing about it. And that's the front runner. That's the front runner of the Democratic Party. And if they win, Pat, and they come back in power, I'm not stupid. I know the pendulum swings. You let them in power. The SAVE Act didn't go through because they have 4 rhino, I'm not going to say the word, Republicans that they want to have power. And again, if I keep hearing this word democracy, it's our republic. And at what point are Americans, the citizens, the 99.999% are going to finally say, Pat, enough is enough? And I'm not saying we're complaining. No, we're trying to point out the obvious. They're cheating. You are cheating. In India, they have how many? 1 point some billion people. They know in one day. What the hell? We're America, and it takes weeks, and we're cool with it. And nobody on the other side is saying, Pat, because their side's going to win. They're quiet. They're quiet, and that's why Gavin Newsom's quiet, because they know that they're freaking cheaters.
Tom.
All you have to do is go, absolutely. And there's 2 lines of thinking that are being driven on here. Voter eligibility.
I think they're more than just cheaters, right? If they're that confident to be able to say that during press conferences, that's a few notches above cheater. That's way up there, buddy.
Ability and voter confirmation, racism. Right?
Yeah, you're racist.
And
absolutely true. Jeremiah Healy says Peter Thiel fled to Argentina. We should probably be concerned. It's a possibility. You gotta always be ready. You never know. But yes, he did. And there's I think on the Patagonia Mountains there's a big new things being built over there. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are going to Puerto Rico as well. And what's the reason? Yo, Ronnie, thank you so much for the 200 joules. Appreciate it, buddy. Keeping this show alive. That's what we need.
And then what you have is controls, to have adequate controls over the election and investigations and just confirmations. That's federal interference. You see? Racism and federal interference.
We haven't heard from Veronica's friend in a while, man. Where's Veronica's friend at?
Did anyone drop a super chat or become member yet?
We got some
Please
gifts.
support this channel, drop a super chat, and become a member.
Yeah.
Interference are destroying democracy. Maxine Waters said it.
Oh, the ghost, Sandra Logue. Thank you so much. 1,000 jewels. You are beautiful. You're incredible. Thank you so much.
Just like that. So guess what? This is what it is. You have to remember something here, guys. It's low tech. When you increase technology, you increase the confirmations and you can increase the confidence. Now, technology isn't a voter tabulation machine that can be hacked and flip votes. We've seen examples of the voting machines. You've seen this, Benny, over the years where they've said, this is an example how this particular machine was flipped. No, the deeper you go in technology. Congress heard a presentation. This is a select committee, heard a presentation on the blockchain, Pat. Hey, did you know you could just take every person who's a valid citizen, put them on the blockchain, you'd know instantly did they vote or not. Not who they voted for, but did they vote or not. Everybody flipped out at that. Why? Because that's high technology, high confidence, high control. That's not what they want. You look at these blue states, just keep counting until you get the answer you want. And it's destroying public confidence. And you're going to see, I think you're going to...
Darn it, Hugh, you got to help me with the next poll then. Good point, good point.
Accelerate the people that are leaving. I talked to people last night in LA too. I asked them, what are you thinking about this? And they said, I'm shocked. Everybody has said the same thing. They said, I'm really shocked. In plain sight, doing what you just said, doing the quiet part out loud.
Exactly.
It was terrible, Pat, terrible. But remember, low tech enables it. When you go to ultimate high tech and blockchain, you control it. Nobody wants control. Everybody wants buckets of ballots that came here coming into what appears to be orderly rooms to be counted that we are ensuring democracy. No, they're not. They are controlling the outcome of what they call democracy.
And Pat, now that we know what we're waiting for.
Allegedly.
For Tom, the Supreme Court's ruling in Watson versus the Republican National Committee. It's amazing.
Thank you, HD, saying keep America safe. Keep your country safe as well. Thank you so much for the love. You got Terry jumping in saying be afraid of the evil blue states. Boo.
Major case that could determine whether the states can continue counting mail-in ballots that arrive after Election Day if they were postmarked on time. And the ruling is expected at the end of this month, Pat. But it's going to have major...
That will only...
There you go. Sandra saying nobody wants accountability. I would say instead of saying nobody, I would say majority of the people don't want accountability. I think there's some people who take pride in being accountable, being able to do things and saying, a wise man once told me one time, and he said, you know what's special about this person is they say they're going to do it and they do it. And there's just something so special about that because when you hear someone say like, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Sure enough, tomorrow you wake up, that stuff is getting done. And those people are holding themselves accountable. So, yeah, majority of people do not want to take any accountability, but some do.
Control the date and time that they bring in the white buckets.
Yeah.
So the Supreme Court will help. We need control, and it starts with voter validation and then technology that validates that those voters that were validated actually voted once.
Well, look, I don't know if you saw this article, what Gavin Newsom has done in response to the allegations. Basically, Gavin Newsom has basically signed a law that, quote unquote, here we go,
this is probably going to be so wild. When he says Gavin Newsom signed a law, you're just like, hope for the worst, bro.
Here we go. Newsom signs law to shield California elections from federal interference.
Oh, there's that
basically
phrase again.
Saying we prohibit any person, including federal agents, from accessing voter rolls or election technology without a court order. But then in response, here's this article. This is from The Hill. Federal prosecutors opened fraud probes into California voting.
User TT, how you doing, buddy?
So, alleged voter fraud, multiple election fraud investigations underway. Essentially what you said, there's serious structural vulnerabilities, specifically coming from two major components, mail-in voting and not requiring voter ID at the polls.
And by the
that
way,
verify that only eligible U.S. citizens are registered.
On the Newsom thing, he signed that on May 29th, 4 days before the election. 4 days before. Here's the video where he explains why he wants to go ahead and pass it so that the federal government cannot interfere, is what he calls, in California's election.
Go ahead, press watch the play.
Trump all the time. He's an invasive species. We've never been up against something like this.
He's an invasive species, bro. Doesn't even want to call him a person.
And he's just not, he's just winding up. I mean, he doesn't.
He's just winding up.
Believe in fair and free elections. He believes in competitive authoritarianism. He wants an outcome along the lines of Putin, you know.
I don't know. I don't see the. Am I trying to see the correlations here between them? Oh, Putin put those scientists into jail and extinguished those scientists who made some of their fruits inedible. They genetically modified, right? Is that what happened? What else did he do? He. I don't want to say what, unless I know for sure what he did.
87.3% to 4.3%. That's a fair and free election from Trump's perspective. And he's become so delusional that I think he's almost starting to believe in his own BS.
Well, I think the people of California have somehow believed his BS for the last decade. And he used, let's just be clear here, he used a very specific number. He said 87% Trump wants that.
4.3. Yeah.
Listen, Trump's best day is in the high 40s. Best day from a national electorate. And worst day is somewhere in the mid 30s. Gavin Newsom, who basically somehow passed a recall, I think 4 or 5 years ago. This is all
Larry
BS.
Elder.
Exactly, Larry Elder. You know who I feel bad for? Can I be honest with you?
Tell me.
Because I'm very much pro-Florida, pro-Miami. I genuinely feel bad.
What are some of the things that Putin did? Okay. Maybe he's telling the truth. You never know. Currency recovered. Crime and instability declined. Yeah, that's actually accurate. That's very accurate. Oh, we got a super chat. Did anyone notice through all the he, she, they, them spectrum, no one seems to mention the Miss, Ms, or Mrs. thing, an antiquated notion of labeling. Yeah, absolutely. W's in the chat for Rowdy Cole. Appreciate the Australian $5. Yeah. So I know the last one, the MRS, that's the married one. And the MS is the not married one. And the Miss, I think that's the one that you save for if you respect somebody. Where's Veronica? We got to bring out Veronica. Come over here, Veronica. Tell Rowdy Cole, just stop your workout for a sec. Tell Rowdy Cole how proud you are.
Thank you for your support. I love you. Wishing you and your family the best.
Go on and do your push-ups, girl. Well done, well done. Awesome.
Bad for the average Californian, and I'll tell you why. Because the top of the food chain, they can move someplace. If they're evading the wealth tax, they'll go find another place to live. But the bottom of the food chain, the 50% of Californians who are living on the social welfare state, don't have a choice here, are going to vote for the socialist communists, they're going to be fine because they're basically living high off the hog. It's the average Californian who's like, I can't move because I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. And they basically are, at some point, they're going to have to say, all right, we've hit rock bottom. We're going to have to pivot. Until then, get used to democratic monopolies in your state.
I know you want to move on.
They almost had a candidate to be on the ballot. And the candidate, I believe, my opinion, we are watching it get taken away from them. There was, don't you see, I think there was a lot of Angelenos that were out there that got behind this campaign, that got behind these things. And by the way, for Raman, Pat, I got a question for you. What did Raman do in the last week of the election? She backed off.
She did a concession speech. She was crying on
Rob,
stage.
can you play that?
But she
Tom's asking a
backed off.
very good question here.
How does she surge
Yeah.
when she's backing off?
Watch the video. Rob, play the video. Go ahead, Rob. Look at this motivational speech.
I just want to make a clarification. Miss is an unmarried girl or a young woman. So that's the 3 differences.
This is like,
you know
she lost. Okay?
Los Angeles is the most
how embarrassing
magical
this
city
is.
in the entire world.
This was like a concession
Win
speech.
Yes,
or lose.
this is the night she
I am
lost.
so
Rob, can you
proud
verify if this
to
is the
be an
night she
Angelino,
lost?
and I'm so grateful to call this extraordinary city my home.
Yeah. Okay, so she allegedly, let me just verify.
I don't
this
think
real
that's an
quick.
act. I think she really believed that, and I think the machine
That's
wants
election
Bass back and used her to get rid of Pratt.
That's election night.
What are
That
the
is
odds
election night.
actually
So-
saying about Pratt's
Well, we'll go to
chances?
Kalshi. No,
you mind?
Pratt's chances on Kalshi,
Have they plummeted?
Oh, you'll
What
see
do you
right
mean?
now.
Look-
1.2%
Oh!
of advancing.
Look at that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was still a 300.
No. Rob, do me a favor. Go
Adam,
back.
look at
So
the-
he's
look at
Go
the-
back.
finished.
How far back
Look
can
at
you
the
go
pot,
on this,
Adam.
dates-wise? Can you go back to 1 month?
78 million.
Go to 1 month. Just watch this.
Look
at Pratt advancing. Okay? Look at Pratt advancing.
And then look.
And then right after June 2nd, which was the day to vote, he's still ahead. And then he drops
And look at that.
all the way down,
then-
and Raman comes up.
And well, even Bass went a little bit lower. So you're saying that everyone who voted in that last 48-hour window, everyone voted for the communists.
Are you ready for
Yes.
this, Pat? So not the beat
Yes.
posted.
Unbelievable.
One of the best statements I
It's
saw.
$78 million.
You might make some money, Hugh. You might make some money with that one, buddy.
Was placed.
Only Raman's
That's
mail-in
70
ballots were late, Adam.
Bill saying, "Scissor sisters." Is that right?
Only Raman's mail-in ballots
So
were late.
when statistically impossible things happen, we should not be expected as a society to accept them. Evidence of fraud isn't limited to video surveillance. Statistical impossibilities are
Giant Tom, good to see you, buddy. Thank you, man.
hard evidence of fraud. That was not the B posted it, and Elon posted it, Pat. And this is, when we talk about the left, right, or whatever, they're willing to lie and cheat to come into power. That's why I'm saying, Pat, this is a spiritual thing. We're at spiritual warfare. Because once they come in, Pat, what do? They open the border, they bring in illegals, our women and children get freaking taken advantage, murdered, or raped, and then they make policies for trans, this
Hopefully
and that.
not.
It's freaking evil. And what's the
Hopefully
fine time?
not.
You're talking about these Angelinos. What can they do? What can you do? What? Go on the streets?
So we believe this is an election. They believe this is a revolution. And during a revolution, anything is permissible. And that's what you're seeing it here. You know, we believe that they're wrong and that we need to sit down and find a way to reason with the ones that are close to the middle and to bring them over. That's the spirit of this podcast. That's why you saw Pat on Jubilee. That's why all this stuff. They believe we're evil and any tactic is permissible to stop.
PBD, you're a California guy. What are you hearing from your people? Because at the end of the day, there's going to be a socialist versus a communist, it seems, in this runoff. What are people in California saying?
So there are guys that are planning on moving to Florida, and they've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Like, for instance, I'll give you an idea. My own family.
Yeah.
A lot of Iranians, Armenians, Assyrians left Iran a long time ago. When did your parents leave Iran?
Oh, my God.
What year? Because you were born in
I was
New York.
born in New York.
So how much
78.
previous to that, when did your parents leave?
In the 70s.
Can you text your, well, it's too early.
No, she'll be up.
What year you think I think your parents left probably in the 70s.
Pre-revolution.
Say 70, early 70s.
Okay. So you have to realize there's different tiers.
You know, Gavin Newsom was right about Trump being so close to Putin. I'm just looking at some more of these things that Putin did. Funded military, infrastructure, pension systems. Yeah, Trump's like Putin. What else did he do? So Putin, I guess when he first got in, Russia went from irrelevant to a geopolitically unavoidable player. I think a lot of people would agree that USA was going towards that irrelevant area with Biden. not being able to finish sentences and being elderly abused by making him get up on stage and mumble and make a fool of himself, unfortunately. But those debates were hilarious. Increased birth incentives. I don't know if Trump did that. Reduce alcoholism. I don't know if Trump did that. But yeah, I guess Trump does have a lot of similarities to Putin.
There's a people that left Iran.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
There are those like his parents who left early. Okay. Then there are those that left in 77, 78. The moment revolution started happening, they're like, we're out of here. Okay.
That was your dad.
No, not at all. No, they didn't. My mom was like, it's going to get better. So my mom encouraged them to stay. My dad is saying, let's get the hell out of here. My mom said, no, let's stay. It's going to get better. Anyways, they stay. And then by 89, when Khomeini died and things got chaotic, we left. By the way, we are known as leaving the latest. We left late because they thought something good was going to happen.
There you go. Terry jumping in on the chat. Oh, it's right here. Where'd he go? Bam. The U.S. was eluding Russia after its collapse in 1990. Putin put an end to it. There you go.
It happened, right? And then we left. And we went to Germany, and then we ended up coming here. Okay, you've heard the story a million times, so I'm not repeating that story. What does that have to do with California? There are people in California that don't want to leave. I had a call the other day, one of our clients. He sold one of his companies a few years ago for $300 million, and he's about to sell a second company in Australia for $250 to $500 million. He's about to go public, money guy, good guy, sharp guy, family guy. And Australia just announced the capital gains tax, which I don't know if you're familiar.
Jeb, I don't think you want the answer to that one, buddy.
Our capital gains here is what, 23.9, something like that?
20%, I believe.
But it's including the Obamacare, I think it's like 23.9 is what you're looking at.
That's correct.
And in Canada, they announced something that your capital gains could go all the way up to 47%. Rob, can you type in 47%?
Higher than ordinary income?
47%, I want to say. There was something that came out that was 40. Australia, if you look up what their capital gains is, a potential rate of 47%. Okay. So, anyways, he's bringing this up to me that this is
Russian banks fund Trump. You got to give me some proof. Melania. wait. She's not Russian, bro. She's Slovenian.
Taking place. I said, what do you want to do? Do you want to fix it, or do you want to go to, Singapore? Do you want to go to Dubai where you don't have to pay taxes? He says, no, I want to fix it. I said, so you don't want to leave Australia? No. So you want to contribute? Yes. So
Hannibal says, anyone but a Republican. That sounds kind of DEI-ish. I think whoever wins should be like kind of best for whatever they do, right? Would you agree or disagree? Or you're just like, nah, just can't be a Republican. It's got to be. What about like may the best man or may the best woman for that role or position win?
So what's the plan? I said, so how famous are you? Not that famous. I'm famous amongst business people because I've made money, but I'm not that famous. I said, well, number one, without the fame, you ain't, it's not something you're going to be able to do. We got to work
the fame,
on the
it ain't
fame
the
part.
same.
He says, well, what about if I first start off with Victoria, the state, which Victoria is kind of like California, and then from there go for national level, which is prime minister. I put him working on putting him in contact with the previous deputy prime minister for them to have a conversation together. But what's the point? There are a lot of people in California and Angelenos that have been waiting.
Dennis says Trump's whole cabinet is DEI higher. Oh, that's news to me. Is that right? Like who? I'm not saying Trump's perfect. I don't think anyone's perfect.
waiting.
But he is hilarious, and I think he is doing a lot of great things for the country. Absolutely.
Waiting. You know what tiers it's going to be? Those who move to a Republican county. So, I don't know, pick a Republican. They're going to go hide in Manhattan Beach. They're going to go hide in Newport Beach. They're going to go hide in, Kern County, like Bakersfield. They're going to go to weird places like this, right? Shout out to...
Move out of L.A.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Then there are those that are going to do the easy thing, second easy thing, which is what? Go to Nevada. And they're going to do the 185, 175, which is live 185 days in Nevada to avoid having to pay the tax of California.
The wealthy people can do that.
The wealthy people can do that. The average person cannot do that. Then it's the people that are just going to be like, I'm moving out. And I'm going to go to Texas. or I'm going to Florida,
Yeah.
or I'm going to Tennessee, or I'm going to go stay in Henderson, Nevada. Those are the 3 tiers. So if this could, by the way, where's Hilton at right now, Rob? Can you look up Hilton's? Go to Hilton's Calshi.
I think he just got passed by Xavier Becerra.
Steyer passed him up?
No,
I don't know. Becerra's got confirmed. He's in.
Yeah.
Like he for sure is first place. But Hilton is still 9.6%, which is fine because as long as he's second place, that's all you care about.
And we should have a moment of silence for this guy, Tom Steyer. He just keeps pumping
$200
hundreds of
million
millions of dollars
$100 million
to get elected, and the world is
he's
like,
in the
listen,
Bloomberg
you ain't
camp.
the guy, buddy.
You know who else did that? Meg Whitman also did that many years ago. She ran as a Republican, I think former CEO of eBay, and she went through different things. Father's Day's around the corner. And there's one statistic, guys, you know this, fathers, ladies, if you're watching this, we spend a lot more money on Mother's Day than we do on Father's Day. We would like to contribute and get our great fathers out there to feel special, and to do so.
We got Yaya Sinwar saying Melania can't even speak English. She doesn't need to speak English that well when she treats Trump that well, I guess, right? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know too much, but she is gorgeous, and she has been gorgeous. So, yeah, kudos to her and her diet and her nutrition and the way she carries herself around POTUS. You know, and she doesn't have an easy walk. You know, every step she takes, she's under a magnifying glass. People talking about her fashion, what she's saying, what she's thinking. Did he hold his hand? Did she hold his hand? Did they hug? Did they kiss? You know, are they affectionate enough? Are they professional enough? She's, you know, anything you do or say in front of these people, and they just criticize. So whenever you're in the public eye, you got to be ready for that, for sure. And I think she handles herself extremely well. And she still has that warmth. Like when you look at her, you feel like that warmth. Yeah, I Miss Oklahoma says she's a good woman. You feel that warmth when you see certain people, I think.
We did something very special for fathers. Today's the day to do it. And this item you're about to see is going to be limited to only 500.
There you go. You got some sales techniques happening right there. Talking about racism, you would never expect these people. How many is it? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 people to be together, man. This is wild. This is a treat.
I want to ask you a question, man, because, you know, I'm Jewish, man. What do you think about me overall, like, as a Jew? Do you think that I'm one of the good ones? Do you think that, do you not like
The person asking is right here on the top left.
me? Like,
He's Aiden Ross, and he's a famous streamer.
if they're, let me ask you this also. It's a two-part. Wait, Jake, why are you shaking your hands? Jake, do this. Real quick, though.
Not enough, oi, oi, not enough, brother.
It's a two-parter. Overall, a three-parter. Overall, what do you think about me? Do you like that I'm Jewish? And if you could, what would you do about me being Jewish? You can answer all 3. Go ahead.
Well, I like you. I think you're funny. I think you have a good heart. And here's the thing, like, I like Jews in general. I think, you know, it's like every race has their own attributes, like black people, a lot of criminality, but they also
Jake,
have big
don't
hearts.
talk to you like that, man.
They're also musical. What's that?
Jake, don't let him talk to you like that.
So, you know, but there's pros and cons. Like with white people are very organized, but then they're also a little cucked, and, you know, they listen to their girlfriends too much and whatever. It's true. They do. White people are simps. I hate to break it to you.
Okay, all right, fine. That's okay. Number 2.
And with Jews, you know, Jews are very funny. They're very intelligent. And so I have friends who are Jewish, and they're some of my favorite people. They're very extroverted. They're hilarious. But at the same time, they're not super trustworthy. Okay? Like they do. That's just true. And I know it from experience. It's like Andrew said. I said so. They have a talent for deception. And it's the same reason that they're funny, the same reason that they're super smart and good lawyers. It's the same reason they have a talent to spin tales and tell tales.
So do you think
because they're
hold on. Do you think that Jewish people are manipulative?
Oh yeah, all day. That's just true.
Are you guys agreeing with what some of Nick Fuentes says? He's very controversial, but there are some stereotypes that do kind of fall into place. I wouldn't say like these are accurate, but there are sometimes.
And Jake, black people steal.
No, Aiden, I played this game.
What did you say, Tristan?
I played this game.
Thank you, my Lesnia Billy.
Recently, I was sitting in a member of the war room. We were sitting having drinks. Very cool guy, because I do have Jewish friends. When you always ask, like, what do you think about me being Jewish, etc.
High five.
My perception on it is, are you in the group chat or not? Because Aiden, I know there's a secret group chat that controls all this crap, and if you're not in it, then cool. It's all about who's in the group chat and who's not. But I was sitting with this Jewish friend of mine, and I basically said something very similar to Nick. I said, look, we're going to play a word association game. I'm going to say a crime, and you're going to say a race, okay? I said gun violence in inner cities.
Black.
Smuggling drugs and people across the U.S. border.
Mexicans.
Using banking powers and lobbying groups to subvert politicians.
Jeez.
So I was like, look, bro, I can take it as a half black man. I can take the fact that we're the ones shooting up the inner cities. Look, I'll take that L. I'm not in the group chat. I'm not in the gangbangers, let's go smoke this nigger group chat. That's not what I'm about as a half black man. So you're not in the let's subvert the government group chat, Aiden, you see? You're just a guy who's Jewish, like my Jewish friends, which is fine. If you're in the group chat, I got to be careful about.
See, this is the really beautiful thing about it. Like, they're separating these extremely wild extremists who are so far on the edge of wherever they are that they're not liked because of how wild they are and how wild their views are. But when you think about yourself and like all your friends you had in high school or in college, you had friends of probably, I'm guessing, depending on where you grew up, you probably had friends from every culture. You didn't even think about that. Just made jokes and had fun. And like what? Just, I don't know. There's good people from every culture. That's what it all comes down to. And then there's also bad people from your culture, my culture, everybody's culture. So.
About you, I don't know if you use Telegram, Signal, WhatsApp, if you got your own little thing, but I know there's a secret group chat that you're not in.
Tristan, I'm not in it, I promise.
Good.
You saying Andrew Tate is based. There you go, dude. There you go. All right, y'all. I love you. The Lord loves you. We're going live every single day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. If people are drinking that haterade, just let that hate roll off of your back like water rolls off of a duck's back. And let's check out this poll. What is the primary strategic driver of U.S. military political involvement in Iran? We have a tie for number one. Number one is nuclear proliferation concerns and deflection from Island Man. And number two is oil energy security. There you go. Awesome. That was a cool poll. All right, y'all. Till next time.